While we're waiting for more to tune in, still prepping things here. How was your day? I hope you've had a great day on purpose. I got some good stuff for you. Looking forward to it. Oh, I'm looking for my book. I just had it. Oh, thank you. Too big for this world, man. It's behind you. That's what his daughter used to say. He's just too big for this world. So we're going to be starting. Am I up to, on the last one, I was like real low. So I need to come up. All right. I felt like I was on the Muppet Show. Y'all remember those Muppets back in the day? And they had the little stage and they popped the little head up. I think that's what I was looking like on the first episode. But it's okay. We had fun, didn't we? Okay, let me bring my chair up. Make sure we do this. Each go round is a better sound. At least that's what I'm hoping for. How am I looking, Mr. Davis? Do I need to come up some more? Am I good? I'm good. All right, family. Well, let's go ahead and get this party started. Now, y'all know how, now, this how I could turn around. Hey. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Welcome to Heart with Lady Love. And I want to first give a big shout out to all of you that watched episode 1 and have given me such great feedback. I am so glad that you enjoyed it and that I'm reaching hearts, because that is my ultimate goal with Heart with Lady Love. So the first episode, I did kind of introduce myself and depression. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is several things. But for for the sake of the show, which we'll get into some of the other things along the way, Lady Love is who I am. My man back here trying to tell me stuff like I'm not supposed to pause to see what he's talking about. You talking about the first one? Oh, okay. That's okay. Thank you, baby. All right. And I'm glad you got that on there like that. That'll work. Okay. So for the, you want to put it on my, where's my phone? You can sign in too on my phone. Would you grab my phone? And then I can see that one too, and we can see it over here. Don't hit this thing. All right, fam. So as I was saying, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Angela Yvette Bird Gardner Lee Davis, Lady Love, the Purple Lady. This purple. That is who I is. That was a lot, wasn't it? And it all has meaning, it all has purpose, and it all is a part of how I am, who I am today. Okay? And I'm very proud and happy of all of the experiences with all of my last names. And now you got Angela Davis in the house. I know what you're thinking. However, there is a difference in the two of us. Yes, we'll get into that later too. But welcome to Heart with Lady Love and my journey through depression. I did a little bit of homework too, because I wanted to begin to fine-tune some of the things that I talk about. So I'm going to put my glasses on because let me see that better. So that, Okay. Whoop. Why it changed to that? Okay, would you bring it back up and just sit it down that way? Okay. Thank you. All right, family. So, in this season, I'm going to actually take you on the journey through my book, How to Love Stress and Live Longer, in connection with my journey with depression. So, with this journey in my book, How to Love Stress and Live Longer, I published that book in 2015. However, I didn't start having challenges with depression until 2017. Each episode has been different. So I'm walking you through each chapter of my book, blending it with my personal story, and showing you that even when the darkness comes and came, my light was still already inside of me. So chapter 1, I'm going to begin with, well, first, I think on some of my other Facebook Lives, I went over some things in the book, and I was trying to combine chapters together. But I've now realized since then that the book is too deep for that. Yes, the book is a thin book. It's an easy read. However, it's a deep read. So you really would want to go deep with this. And it takes a little time for that. The book itself is also a journal. So you have parts that you're going to write about. And How to Love Stress and Live Longer has 10 chapters. And I'm going to mention them to you so that you can know what they're going to be about. But we may have to do more. We may not get through a whole chapter in a 30-minute session, because I really want to dig deep and, again, heart to heart. And even before I get started, family, I did mention on the last episode for my babies. My passion is for children. And I'm trying to turn around this way. I got to get something going on with this bottom down here. Baby, will you hand me that little stool there? That'll work. It's not my baby girl's little stool. Remember I mentioned my Scholaver babies. That's Scott Elementary and Oliver Elementary together. Scholaver. So that's over 800 students or more that I have been able to have a great impact on, and very strong relationships with. And even today, you have no idea the things that these babies deal with, cope with on a daily basis. And I call them my babies. I call you my babies as well, simply because I can. And that's what I like to do. And that's how much love that I have. But have your children, your nieces, your nephews, the age, there's no real age restriction on Heart to Heart with Lady Love, because everyone has a heart. The children have a heart. And my heart is what I'm sharing with everyone, but especially my babies, okay? So parents, it'll be just fine. It's going to benefit them. They've been looking forward to it as well. Some of them even watched the first episode. So I will go ahead and say this too. If you want to go ahead and get the book so that you can go along with me, it is on Amazon, and I have it priced at a special price right now for only $19.95 for the hard copy and $9.95 if you want the ebook. Now, the advantage of having the hard copy is going to be the fact of the journaling. And after each chapter, you're going to see the journaling on there. Okay? And after each chapter, and the book is full of questions. So that's what I mean by it's an easy read, it's simple, but it's deep. Okay? Now, starting with chapter 1. And would you do a stopwatch for me for my 30 minutes? So I'll know. Thank you so much. You can use my, or that one, yeah. Our phones look just alike, so we be looking at each other, and he know my password, I know his password, so we good over here. We get into that on relationships. But anyway, how to love stress. So I'm going to read it word for word for chapter 1. And hopefully you can go ahead and get your book so that you can follow along. And on Amazon, you can just put in How to Love Stress and Live Longer, and it'll come up. Or you can put in Amazon.com/author, I believe that's what it is, /author, and then my part on there is Lady Loves Purple. I don't know where all these other people got Lady Love and all my other little names out there. Who are you? I don't know you. Took my stuff. No, I'm just kidding. So for Amazon, when you're looking for my book, it's Lady Loves Purple. Okay? But the name of the book, How to Love Stress and Live Longer. And of course, it's purple, lavender. It has my butterfly, my heart. The butterfly, of course, represents transformation for me. And the heart, the love. Yay! I love this book. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start reading chapter 1. Let me get my other set of eyes. You know, this aging process, it ain't no joke. All my classmates out there, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? Woo! But we still kicking it. Kicking it strong. Yes, indeed. Okay, how to love stress. I need my little water or something too, baby. Can I get a little something? In order for you to get an understanding of the whole concept of how to love stress and live longer, allow me to define stress as it applies to my message. One definition states, it is a specific response generated by the body to a stimulus, such as pain or fear, that disturbs or interferes with the normal physiological equilibrium of an organism, which leads to physical, mental, and or emotional strain or tension. Now that just stressed me out just reading that. In other words, simply living our lives can be a stressful journey. Notice I said can be. It does not have to be. You may even want to take a couple of notes during this part if you don't have your book, because that's a strong statement. Can be stressful, but it does not have to be. You have maybe heard the saying that stress kills. Well, I'm here to let you know that stress also heals. It's going to boil down to your perspective and how you choose to see it and handle it. Oh, it's very real. No need to deny that. And it will never go away. But there's no need to lose control. I mean, that would be stressful. So you kind of see the flow of my book. That was the first paragraph. So I read it as though I'm having a conversation with you. I wrote it as though I'm having a conversation with you. The key to loving stress is to let it guide you. Stress signals are clues to let you know that something is not right. Those signals are attempting to get your attention. It could very well be that you are not functioning in harmony with your own values and or beliefs. Now, this may be an entirely different way of viewing stress, and I hope it is. My goal is to bring a new perspective to the table and to enlighten you on how I adopted this view and changed my life. And if you feel overwhelmed with stress, these pages are especially for you. I am here to share with you that you can truly love stress and live longer, and at the same time, empower you with what I feel are the necessary tools and concepts that are the foundations for how I have come to love stress, and as a result will live longer based on the things I can control. You can allow stress to lead you to your destruction or destination, whatever your driven purpose is. As you move through the chapters and absorb how I learned to love stress, we will address key areas in life from the inside out. It is my intention that you will begin to see and understand why your views and values have to be in connection to the same path that you choose to travel in life. If you're going to have an enjoyable journey, they have to connect. You will have to be very honest with yourself, which is not always easy to do because of our previous programming, which we'll focus on later. You will learn how loving stress means keeping it simple. Do you see the cup as half full or half empty? It really does matter. What are your thoughts? How do you define who you really are? How well do you interact with family and friends? This can also be very challenging. Are your sources of income in harmony with your morals and values? Are you taking advantage of stressful moments and how they relate to who you really are? What do you have in place to help you remain cool and enjoy life regardless? How flexible are you? And how do you know when you have had enough? Knowing the answer to these questions as they apply to you individually, taking the tools and concepts that I will share with you throughout the book, and being patient with yourself will help you to begin to love stress. Either way, stress will not be ignored. The big question is, will it control you or will you control it? Once you accept it and use it wisely, you will be on the path to love it as I do. Note, because I asked a lot of questions along the way, at the end of each chapter, blank pages are provided for your answers, personal reflections, and journaling. Now, let's take the first step and focus on the inner person. Chapter 2 is all about you. Are you ready? Now, wasn't that awesome, family? That was a lot in that dose. And that was the end of the first chapter. Did you notice how simple it was? No big words, nothing to stress you out. And if you can read, you can read this. I literally have students. What's my youngest baby that read this? Maybe third grade or so. However, fifth graders and my babies that I shared this with at Scott Elementary, they loved the book. And my book is currently being circulated in high schools as well, and the feedback is phenomenal from the teachers that have my book, and they're using this as like their reading time, the 30 minutes a day kind of stuff and all that. You know, my background is education. I'm always going to be in education. But this is great, and it's great for them. So next week is going to be about you. But think about all the things that I just said. And think about the depression that I introduced you to last episode that I have gone through, the rabbit hole that I mentioned. And yet and still, I had this book. What does that tell you about depression? Well, when I wrote that about how stress will not be ignored, you will either control it or it'll control you. When I wrote that, I believed it with all my heart. I was living it, I was speaking it, and I was teaching it. But what I didn't know was that I would one day forget it. Not deliberately, not because it wasn't true, but because depression has a way of burying what you know under how you feel. Can you relate to that? So let me be real with you. I wrote that chapter from a place of strength, but when depression hit me in 2017, none of that mattered. The tools didn't show up. The mindset was buried. That's the thing about depression. It's not about what you know. It's about what you can reach when your mind is under siege. That's what makes it so powerful and so misunderstood. The many faces of depression that I have had, I want to share with you as I begin to wind this down. And what I love about having my own show is that I get to do it the way I want to do it. And when I'm sharing heart to heart with you, I could be in the middle of something that we just can't cut off. You can cut it off, but I can't cut it off. And the beautiful thing about this being uploaded to our YouTube channel, make sure that you're subscribing to, is you can look at this over and over again. You can share it with family. Have your young ones to watch as we go along with Heart to Heart. So, the shifts when the tools went silent on me. So I did this as like my outline because there are things that I don't want to miss. And I can get so involved that my mind kind of goes in different directions. I do believe I have ADD. My husband gave it to me. Because, you know, he has it. And since we've been married and been together over 20 years, I think I have it too. Yeah. So, but it's all good. It works for us. I think a lot of people have ADD. Yeah. Anywho, that is why I did me an outline. So my focus here is when the tools went silent on me. So the many faces I have had of my depression. Last episode I mentioned a few different kinds of depression. And as I was going through some more research today, I realized how my story goes in and out of several forms of depression. And you may be able to relate to this. So I call this the many faces of my depression. So depression didn't show up just as one thing in my life. It came in waves. Each wave had a different face. A different face. At times, I was deep in a hole and couldn't climb out of it. That was called major depression, which I call my rabbit hole. Then it lingered. Not as intense, but heavy enough to wear me down every day. That's called persistent depression. When the seasons changed, so did I. Especially in the winter, when the light felt far away, that's seasonal depression. Of course, it all tied to everything I've been through. The loss of my daughter. 9 months later, the loss of my grandmother. Those things are situational depression. And then there were the days when I could laugh, even teach or help others, and still come home and fall apart. That's atypical depression. And these are all the silent ones. The ones no one has prepared me for is this one right here. Menopause. At first, I thought that was depression. But it was the hormonal shift of premenopause and postmenopause knocking on my emotional, physical, and spiritual door all at once. It wasn't one thing. It was all the things. And that's what makes this journey so real. It's so layered and so deeply misunderstood. And I'm sure you could probably see my wheels still turning even now because I'm thinking about some other things at the same time. Have you ever realized that you had the wisdom or strength before the storm, but you didn't know it until after? What old journey or memory or decision reminds you of your strength? As I mentioned, next time we're going to dive into chapter 2, which is mental programming. How your beliefs shape your reality and how the wrong ones can silently push you toward a breakdown. This journey is personal. I'm putting it all out there. But I'm just not here to share. I'm here to remind you that you are more than prepared than you know. And the pain doesn't erase your power. It can feel like it, but it doesn't erase your power. Make sure that you subscribe and meet me back here next week as we continue on with the lessons. Okay, so make sure you subscribe, get the book, and meet me right back here next week. I will put out, because as you see, last week it was on Saturday at noon, then today, Friday at 7 p.m. The advantage for all of us is the fact that you can still see it anytime. While I'm on here, what I would like to say is if you get the playback, and I'll have this on the playback, send me questions, send me answers, whatever's on your heart, and email it to me so that I can either address it, highlight it, or something on the next episode. So the email address that I would like for you to use for this is Lady Loves, with the S, Me More @gmail.com. That's why you have to say to yourself, Lady loves me more. So Lady loves me more @gmail.com. Email me whatever you would like to express, questions or answers. Do you see anything on there from anybody that's on and live, and something that I can address now as we are closing out?
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
We have 3 people here on. You have Jamel Templeton on.
Aww.
You have
My Millie Mel.
Pamela D. Dowdy Lampkin.
Lampkin in the house. Sis, I don't know what was going on. Oh, and speaking of that, I called my sister Lorraine. I don't know what made me to say her whole name. I was like, my sister Lorraine Templeton. Baby, I am so sorry. I know my sister was like, no, she did not say my whole name like that. But anyway, that's
Coach
between me and my sister.
Tashawn Collier Green is on.
Y'all, Coach Green is on. I'm so glad to see you. Have you all checked out her show? You have to check out her show as well. Now, and my mind is I'm trying to think. It's about relationships. It's about marriage. It's so good, and I'm trying to. I don't want to say the wrong thing because I just get all of her stuff, so I don't really know what the actual title page is. I am Trinette Collier Green. I can't remember.
That's it.
Oh, he said that's it. I am Trinette Collier Green. Subscribe to her channel as well. She is thebomb.com. We got all in this space together. Thank you for tuning in, girlfriend. My bestie, 86 Lakeshore. Oh, 86 is the class, but we go way back to the elementary. And my baby brother, Melly Mel. All right, guys. I love you. Thank you so much for coming. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And I'll let you know when. All right, DJ, let me get my little music to come back so I can get out here. All right, family, I love you. Have a great rest of your day. Heart to heart with Lady Love on purpose. Doom, doom, doom. Woo! We're going to eventually get this, y'all. I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, 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 hey. Y'all like my little beat there? Mm-hmm. That sound like me, don't it? Hey, that old school. Hey, hey, little jazzy kick to it. But, you know, it's the beat that we used back then. Hey. Boom, boom, boom. I am so excited about this journey, family. And I thank you again for tuning in. Woo! Go round and round. I'm going round and round in circles. All right. See you later.